Hi guys, today we have with us Dr. Partha. So Dr. Partha is the director of NIBM. So today we want to talk to you informally. Today you are not sitting across the table, you are with us and talking in general about finance and everything. So sir, सबसे बड़ा जो misconception market में है कि finance का मतलब sales. That is one of the biggest misconception people have. The moment you join finance, you have to sell. So what is truth about that? And some people are saying that finance is outdated now, things are changing, the new technology is coming in. So I'm sorry, I'm going to give you some hard-hitting questions because ये सब students के मन में यही doubt है. क्योंकि the moment anybody want to talk about finance, तो पापा के time पे था. So what is your?
So that's great, Navneet. Welcome to NIBM. Great to see you here. And I'm slightly nervous because he said hard-hitting question. So let me explain why finance is important. First, conceptually, when you do an activity, you need money. Finance is like the lubricant of a machine without which the machine cannot run. First. Second, if you look at Indian GDP, a large chunk of Indian GDP came from the services sector and not from agriculture or manufacturing. And it is here within the services sector, financial sector has a major role to play. We fulfill that gap. And as far as your question on the irrelevance of finance is concerned, finance is omnipotent, the shape and form changes, but fundamentally finance is there. Whether it's a tech form, whether it is some other form. For example, think of it. When the checkbook first came, the MICR checkbook, I remember I used to work in RBI, we were taught how to read an MICR checkbook. Now my students, this generation, they might not have written a checkbook ever in life.
Right.
So therefore, the shape and form changes, but the inherent thing remains. It's like beauty.
Right, beautiful. So very nice explained. So sir, what are the emerging sector you think which will be the future? Suppose I want to make my career in finance and I want to do some courses. So fintech is something which everyone is recommending कि which का कोई software, do any kind of a software. So anything you have?
So fintech is a catch-all term. End of the day, these days, finance and technology are getting hugely interrelated. And they're interrelated different ways. Let me give an example. When you are exporting, say, water bottles, you need 1 boxes for exporting 100 water bottles, but you need 1,000 boxes to export that many. But in case of finance, it's scale neutral. Why do I say that? You need that 1 byte of data to send 1 rupee, 1 million rupee, or 1 billion rupee. That click of a mouse. Therefore, finance is hugely scale neutral. In a number of cases, people are talking of these days digital financial inclusion. So it's just not, finance is not only for the rich and mighty, financial inclusion, and even there digitalization and the whole notion of fintech plays a hugely important role.
Right, so knowledge is must, so it's good to have.
That's right. So the intersection of knowledge, technology and finance. So these three things together, they determine.
Lovely, lovely. So sir, now your college is started by RBI. So एक मार्केट में मिसकंसेप्शन है, which I joke around this thing कि किसी को जॉब नहीं लगा तो RBI आपको लेके जाएगा जॉब पे.
So you know, in the strategy literature, they say there are 2 kinds of entities. One is dinosaur, the other is phoenix. Dinosaurs are big guys who are unable to move, they get extinct. And NIBM is like phoenix. They can burn themselves and come out with a new avatar, new shape form. Example, yes, indeed it was started by RBI, but as lots of people these days know, that the public sector banks do not come here for direct placement from the campus. So who employs our students? The fintech companies, the private sector banks, consulting firms, so on and so forth, even technology firms, various of them employs our students. So that's a complete misconception. We exist for everyone who's ever had interest in finance.
Right. So sir, when we talk about the finance, so if I summarize, so RBI basically acting as a guidelines. They're not like, it's not a watchdog for you, it's a guideline which is set for everyone coming together so that they can...
Normally the relation is between you and your father, or me and my father. It's like the father is there, but you do on your own.
Right.
The father is there as a guardian angel, and so on and so forth. But end of the day, you and me, when we're talking among ourselves.
Right.
So it's exactly like that. So we are independent, we have a board. Board doesn't look into nitty-gritties, board gives us broad direction,
Right.
and it's headed by our dear governor. But whatever we do, we are within that board supervision, within that board oversight, we are independent.
Right, superb, sir. Sir, I have now one question for you. So this is in everybody's mind, every student's mind, and you are going to ask them when they come to you, is why finance? So if you
I
can
thought-
help us, if I ask you as a
yes.
student, sorry.
Yes, no, absolutely. Why finance? Because there are two reasons. I would have had this question, answering this question, why finance, little difficulty this question is asked in China. Had I been in Chinese, the opportunity would have been why not manufacturing, why finance? India, as I said earlier, has come out hugely in the services sector. And in the services sector, two sectors came up. One is a trade, hotel, restaurants, which is essentially the internal trade. And the other is finance and financial services. So therefore, as a nation, we became hugely linked to finance. Our GDP hugely linked to finance. Our future as far as finance is concerned is extremely bright, and therefore they are coming for finance. So it's challenging in a knowledge sense. It's interesting in the sense of one can have an optimal mix of the left-hand side and the right-hand side of the brain. And third, it has immense potential anywhere in the earth. So because of these three reasons, I think finance is the obvious choice for these people.
Correct. Sir, now coming to the first question I had about sales. So I personally believe sales is part of everything. Like today we are sitting here,
Absolutely.
sales is part, everything is part of
Absolutely.
sales. So what is important of sales? Because students the moment you say finance, they don't want to do sales. They don't want to talk about sales also. So what is the importance of
Sales is a catch-all term. It's not a narrow notion. Right now, perhaps my dean is watching me whether I'm able to sell NIBM in a proper way. But at the end of the day, remember, sell is a catch-all term. It's like bringing the essence of your institution to the outsider and yourself to the outsider. So irrespective of your knowledge base, irrespective of the sector where you are a salesman. Salesman, don't look down upon a salesman. In that sense, remember, even the country leaders in some way placing the country towards the outsider, in that sense, the chairman of Niti Aayog is selling the country, and in a positive sense of the term. So therefore, salesmanship is inherent in all kinds of activity that we do.
right? And nobody is going to tell you to do cold calling. So it's like we're not at that level. You are at the higher level. After your MBA, you will be joining a profile, will be strong enough that you have to sell the brand, the company, or your products to the client. So that always part and parcel of that. So don't shy away from
Absolutely. It's like, since you were saying that 22, 24, it's like when you meet your partner for the first time, you try to sell yourself without cold calling.
मैं बोलने वाला कि वो अभी 5 साल के बाद when they will that stage कि जब लड़की देखने जाएंगे
Exactly. So that's how it is. Every time you are selling yourself. Selling yourself in a very positive sense of the term,
Right.
not in a negative sense of the term. And remember, you have to have inherent qualities to be able to sell yourself effectively.
Right. And then don't shy away from all these topics in the call.
Absolutely.
You have to be part of that.
Absolutely.
Right, great. So any future down the line, suppose I want to do my MBA now. So any 2-3 areas where you think students should focus on? Like consulting, within consulting there are a lot of areas from finance point of
I
view.
would say finance in general, an intersection between technology and finance in particular. In what form? Woody Allen says forecasting is difficult, particularly for the future. So I'm not here in the forecasting business, but most seriously, the intersection of finance and technology, along with society, are the 3 key areas. I have just mentioned earlier digital financial inclusion. For example, you'll be surprised to know we have been helpful and we have been engaged with development of a particular app, mobile-based app for financial services in collaboration with the Commonwealth of Learning based in Canada. And we have developed this for a Tamil language app based. So these are the kind of works that people are going to come. So finance is going to touch the lives. finance is not going to just for the almighty and small echelons of people. Finance will be everywhere.
Great, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much in talking to us. It's very informal talk. I was also nervous कि पूछो कि ना पूछो ये.
Yeah, of course. End of the day, we are informal people. End of the day, we are informal people.
We are in a role
I
where
mean,
we have to be formal.
the financial guys might wear a suit and a tie, but end of the day, they're informal, irrespective of their attire.
Good. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Pleasure talking to you.